Horizon got nerfed. Is she still broken?
What about Rampart?
Revenant's reborn. Can we play him now?
Seer got nerfed. Is he still OP?
Well, let's find out, because I'm going to rank every legend in Season 18 from the worst to the best. Let's get into it. Haha. The awesome thing about Season 18 is there is no one in F tier. There is no one absolutely horrendous. So we will start with the worst legend in the game, starting off our D tier, Ballistic. This legend is gimmicky with the sling weapon, which requires you to look for certain weapons like Havocs or RE45s to make the ability useful. The auto reload is a nice team function, however, his tactical is very easy to get around and useless if you have good aim. Sorry to all 4 Ballistic mains, but Ballistic is the worst legend in Apex. Next up in our D tier is Octane. One of the most fun legends, one of the highest pick rates, but Octane is bad. His stem is too punishing. Octane main Luke Goblin stereotype aside, he's just not in anymore. Worst of the movement legends, and there's not much more you can say about Octane. His jump pad sucks, it's loud. Octane is still down bad. And closing out our D tier is Ashe. The problem with Ashe is her ult still sucks. It's just not long enough. It doesn't take you far enough. Yes, you can push after a knock, but it needs to be extended. Her snare is good for close quarter fighting. Her passive provides great information for third parties, but Ashe is in dire need of a buff. And starting off our C tier is the legend with the most kills in the history of Apex, Wraith. I know. Listen, it's not season 1 anymore, and I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Everything that was good about Wraith before is bad now. Naruto run, gone. Instaphase, gone. Wraith just isn't that good anymore. I know it's hard to accept, not to mention the people that play Wraith typically make the worst teammates. So what good is a teammate that's gonna leave as soon as they go down? Sorry, Wraith mains, she's mid now, accept it. Next up, we have Newcastle. Corny voice lines aside. And to be clear, none of the support legends are bad. Newcastle just happens to be the worst of the support legends. And in a controller meta, he is a lot stronger on mouse and keyboard. The shield res is not quite as strong as Lifelines because he has to stop fighting and she doesn't. The mobile shield is very strong as well as his wall, but his hitbox is humongous. Again, not bad, just the worst of the support legends. He is the definition of mid. Mad Maggie. She is gross, she spits on people, but she is C tier solely because of her drill. It's one of the best tacticals in all of Apex. The rest of Maggie is the definition of mid. You will forget her shotgun perk even exists, and her wrecking ball is good in small spaces, but it's mostly used to run from zone and as a rotational tool. Nothing much more to say about Maggie, she's just mid. Crypto, a legend with a high skill ceiling, so you see him played at high levels. The buffs he's gotten over time have made him a lot stronger, but the addition of support legends and the fact that they can get banners even after the timer expires hurts his viability. The EMP is very strong. The rest kind of requires you to be stationary, which can be good depending on your play style. Again, very, very high skill ceiling. Crypto is just okay. Closing out our C tier is Mirage, and I love his invisible res. It also allows the down person to be cloaked for 3 seconds, which allows you to run and heal after you get up. His ultimate is a bit easy to see, and the decoy footsteps are laughably loud in a game that is notoriously bad with game audio. But again, there is no such thing as a bad support legend. Mirage used to be terrible, and now he's just good. We're getting to the good stuff, and what better way to start off our B tier than with Vantage, who is criminally underrated. Her sniper is busted, it's basically aimbot is cheating, and it's also a great third-party tool and fight starter. Her bat makes her a movement legend even though it's a little clunky. Her passive gives valuable information with her revealing shields and team size. Vantage's downfall is her hitbox. She's a fridge, but Vantage is a good legend and you shouldn't sleep on her. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. He now has the lowest pick rate in the game because he has been nerfed to the ground. The most overpowered legend in Apex history is still good because of his ultimate, as you can still track enemies in some capacity, but the glory days of Seer are over, and I think we can all rejoice about that. Next up is Caustic, Gas Daddy. Can hold a building down really well, but man, is he a bullet sponge, another big old dude. Being able to shoot gas traps is a minor nerf, but mix traps with his ultimate and you're in for a heck of a fight. Caustic is one of the stronger controller legends, which is why we have him in our B tier. Next up is Rampart, who just got a buff, and if you're on M&K, her walls go down really fast. So a charged up Sentinel or Rampage behind those walls is deadly. Those walls are also great for in-game or healing in the open in a pinch, or even getting your teammate back up on the fly. Her passive SMG perk is just kind of there, but if you get in front of her ultimate Sheila, I wish you the best of luck. There are some Ramparts played at high level, which makes her a dangerous legend, but for the most part, she's right where she belongs, at B tier. Next up is Loba, and we all love Loba for obvious reasons, but let's be honest, she's barely a movement character. Her bracelet is the worst part of her kit, but her passive makes her looting a lot faster and her ultimate is huge, specifically in endgame. Her being a support character is a huge perk, but Loba would be a lot higher if her bracelet was better, but she is a very strong legend, so we'll keep her in B tier. Closing out our B tier is Watson, and if you can play her offensively and defensively, she's S tier. Most people can't, but her ultimate is perfect on the fly for things like bang ults and Gibby ults, and especially Fuse. Holding a building with a Watson gen and fences, and a team is going to have a very long day. Her passive shield regen is a bit too slow, but Watson is a very strong controller legend. Top 10, baby. Our top 10 legends, and starting out our A tier is Pathfinder. And he was down bad for about 14 seasons, but he's really good now, and of course, really fun. Looking at care packages, getting his zipline means you and your team will almost always have one, so there's going to be a lot of movement, insane movement with grapples, aggressive pushes, but like some others, he's a fridge. His hitbox is a liability, but he's still an A tier legend. Gibraltar, another brick house that's easy to hit, but at least he's got a Gibby bubble and a defensive shield to defend himself. Good to res a teammate or cover against an enemy bang or Gibby ult. His cooldown was drastically reduced by 90 seconds, which gives a lot of value to one of the best ultimates in the game. Grab a shotgun, an SMG, and run Gibby. A tier. Next up is Horizon. The former undisputed champ just got nerfed, but she is still strong. So let's start with the good. She still has the best passive in the game with the soft landing, and you can still use the gravity lift to get insta height on teams. Now the bad. You can try to go up that lift solo if you want to. You're probably going to get beamed because it's dramatically slowed down, and you can't sit up on it anymore, so popping a bat is a little bit harder, and you can only stay on it for a half a second. She's no longer super broken, but she's still really good. She's just A tier now. Revenant. The former worst legend in the game has now been reborn, and what a rework he has gotten. His Shadow Pounce makes him a movement character now, perfect to enter and leave fights, and his passive lets the entire team know when Rev has gotten an enemy low and marks him, so now he's a scan character. His ultimate gives you 75 health, which is the new get out of jail free card previously occupied by Horizon. So yes, with a red shield, that is 300 damage to knock a Rev. Rev is strong and he's back. Bloodhound. Seer is gone, Bloodhound has risen. We saw him return at ALGS, and maybe he never stopped being good, but Seer was so strong. Follow enemy footsteps. The Raven will help direct you to enemies or help you get your ult quicker by scanning. Beast of the Hunt has always been strong. Bloodhound is A tier and the last of the scan meta. Next up in our A tier, Fuse, the ultimate menace of Apex, who just helped TSM win ALGS, and I've known for some time that he's underrated. His ability to stack grenades but also be a direct counter to most control legends. He's just a menace in endgame. The guy is just a problem. His ult could use a little work, but Fuse has been amazing for some time. You're just now realizing it. And last but not least, closing out our A tier, Lifeline. And I don't care. She is the best of the support legends. Early game loot with her care package, her ability to res someone, heal herself and the team while shooting her gun is something that other legends like Newcastle and Mirage just can't do. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. You're all wrong about Lifeline. We've reached the cream of the crop. The top 3 legends, and starting off our S tier is Valkyrie. I know a lot of people talk about evac towers, but they never replaced Valk. Her passive scan you get while flying, especially when the ring is smaller, is crucial. Evac towers easily get focused on, and Valk is still a great movement legend that you can play aggressively. Her value seems to have shrunk, but she still shines brightly as a top 3 legend. Next up is Bangalore, and I'll start by saying that her high pick rate in ALGS has more people playing her, and most people have no clue how to play Bang properly. However, she is the most balanced legend in the game. Aggressive or defensive, her passive is amazing with the double time. If played right, she can do everything. Her ult, in my opinion, is strictly a rotational tool, but her smoke allows you to be aggressive, defensive. Bang is really well balanced and very, very strong. We have a new pound for pound Apex Legend champion, and it's Catalyst. The potential was always there, you just didn't know it. And it's almost impossible to push a Catalyst build, and even with Fuse, because the doors just get reinforced, and it's just a major pain in the butt. The way that Catalyst controls space is second to none. Play aggressive or play defensive, it does not matter. Controls a building like no other. Her wall is a great rotational tool, or just a quick res or quick get out of a jam, just create a little space. TSM shows you how to win with Cat, and now Catalyst has passed Horizon as the #1 Apex Legend.